Hi, so my name is Elizabeth Thacker, and today I have completed the elephant toothpaste experiment for my Chemistry 2 course. The elephant toothpaste experiment demonstrates exothermic reactions, chemical changes, and decomposition reactions. So the first thing that I had to do for this experiment was gather my materials together. So for this experiment, I needed 10% of hydrogen peroxide, a few drops of dish soap, a few drops of food coloring, dry yeast, and water. And you can see most of these items shown in the photo on screen. The only thing that's missing in this photo is the water. The first step in this experiment is to mix the hydrogen peroxide and the dish soap together, which you can see has been done in the photo below, and it creates this clear bubbly solution. The next thing that I did was mix the yeast and the water into a separate cup, which you can see in this photo below, and it creates this it's a tan yellow color, and it's still a pretty thin liquid. The next thing that I did was add the red food coloring to the hydrogen peroxide and dish soap mixture, and it just made the solution turn red. In this photo, you can see the dish soap, food coloring, and hydrogen peroxide mixture on the left, and on the right-hand side, you can see the yeast and water mixture, and this is just what it looked like before I had added the two of them together. So in the video that you're about to see, it is the hydrogen peroxide, food coloring, and dish soap being mixed with the yeast and the water, and it's the actual reaction occurring. It happens really quickly, if not immediately, so watch really closely, and there's actually a good bit of heat that came off of the foam that it created. So in this photo, you can see the equation for the reaction that has occurred in the video that I have just shown you of the elephant toothpaste experiment. However, the decomposition of the hydrogen peroxide into water and oxygen is catalyzed by the iodide ion, and that process can be seen here in this photo. So what's happening in the elephant's toothpaste reaction is actually quite simple. The foam is made as the dish soap traps tiny oxygen bubbles created by the chemical reaction that is happening inside of the glass. The foam oozes out of the top of the glass and looks like a toothpaste as it's being squeezed out of a toothpaste bottle. And it's called the elephant's toothpaste reaction because it looks like it could be large enough to be placed onto an elephant's toothbrush. So hydrogen peroxide is a molecule made up of hydrogen atoms and oxygen atoms. And under certain conditions, hydrogen peroxide will undergo a chemical reaction to break down into two parts, oxygen and water. When a chemical that is made up of only one molecule breaks down into two different smaller molecules, it's called a decomposition reaction. This particular decomposition reaction is also an exothermic reaction, meaning it gives off heat. If you feel the sides of your glass once you've completed the experiment, you'll notice that both sides are warm, telling you it's an exothermic reaction. You can also sometimes see steam coming off of the foam itself, or even feel the heat with your own hand if you put it close enough to the foam. Yeast contains an enzyme called catalase. The enzyme is called catalase because it works as a catalyst in this reaction. A catalyst is a substance that speeds up the rate of any chemical reaction without changing its products. The yeast is added to the hydrogen peroxide to speed up this reaction. The catalase in the yeast speeds up the process of breaking down the hydrogen peroxide and thus produces the oxygen and water more quickly. The oxygen gets trapped by the dish soap as many tiny bubbles. and that's about all that's happening within your reaction. And as you saw in the video, it creates that giant fun foam that just springs out of any bottle you put it into. So thank you for watching, and I really hope you enjoyed my explanation of the elephant toothpaste experiment.